Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Let's start our class today with a prayer together. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, friend, beloved God, Guru Preceptors, Jesus Christ, Babaji Krishna, Lahiri Mahashaya, Swami Sri Yukteswarji, beloved Gurudev, Paramahansa Yogananda Ji, saints of all religions, we bow at thy feet. Divine Mother, bless our year, bless our lives with the remembrance of thy love, thy presence, thy blessings and grace ever flowing into our lives. We are thy children. Receive us and bless us. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. We'll hear a song of Swamiji's Blessed the Life, and then a video excerpt on the new year from Swamiji. Welcome again, everyone.
Well, we have New Year's coming up day after tomorrow. And what do you gain from reincarnation? We'll start with that. You gain a chance to start all over. If you were a murderer, you get a chance to, having forgotten that you were a murderer, to start a new life. You get a chance to reform. And in a sense, every day is a new incarnation. Every day when you wake up, if you affirm that you will that you'll do certain things, for instance, give up smoking or whatever it is, that can be like a new incarnation to you. And Lahiri Mahashaya said, every breath can be a new reincarnation. When you inhale, make an affirmation, from now on the past is dead, I will be a better person. And so, although astrologically speaking, the new year ought to begin on March 21st, this is the vernal equinox, yet custom has made it January 1st, and okay, we can take that. At the beginning of a new year, we can make this affirmation to change our lives. We all have things that we want to overcome. We all have things that we want to develop. And if it's only the positive thing of love, wanting to love God more.
Welcome again, everyone. I'd like to start with these words of masters on the new year. Every regret for shattered hopes of success must be transformed into the joy of new achievements during the new year. Old sorrows and disappointments must be buried in the past year. The dark bandits of discouragement must not remain any longer to steal the wealth of your desire to succeed. Every day in the new year must become an altar for the God of new living, new achievements, and wisdom and joy. Every day in the new year must bring hope and cheer to you and to all humanity. It's such an encouraging time of year. And as Swamiji said, it's a time to start new, start fresh, leave the past behind, your old worries, your old fears and doubts and bad attitudes and wrong habits. And we on the path, we're changing all the time, not just on January the 1st. We're trying to change every day. What a blessing to have teachings and techniques and places we can go to and books we can study. They're all, and talks like this of Swamiji and masters lessons and Kriya. It all is changing us all the time. Now, to me, that's a wonderful thing to keep in mind. It's not one day out of the year you're trying to make a change. It's every day. And as you're making those changes, as you're doing Master's path, what all that he gave, you are changing. You're changing inside, and you're changing in attitudes, you're changing in your appearance, you're changing in your habit patterns, you're changing in your devotion, you're changing in your attunement, your whole aura is changing. You're becoming more and more light. Every time you practice Kriya, you're beaming with light. And every time you energize your body, you're getting more strength and determination and magnetism and purifying the body. And yoga postures purifies you, and chanting opens your heart and cleanses you. And so we can't bank on one day or 1 week, which most people's resolutions are finished after a week. But we're saying, no, every day, I'm changing myself. And look, think about how you used to be before you came onto the path, even if it was a year ago, even if it was 6 months ago, even less time. Over the time of practicing what Master gave, you have changed. Affirm it. Look in the mirror. See yourself. I remember once Devi Ji said, she was with Swamiji, and he was talking about people who had changed on the path. And she said, oh, Swamiji, I don't think I've changed very much. And he said, what are you saying? You're a completely different person. And I think for all of us, we don't really see ourselves. We're completely different people. I can say I'm a completely different person, completely different from how I was when I came onto the path. And so one problem is people affirm that they're their old self. Well, you're not your old self. Every day, as Lahiri Mahashaya said, every breath is a renewal. Every breath you're changing. Every Kriya I'm changing. Every time I energize, I'm changing. Every time I serve, I'm changing. Every time I'm in a satsang, I'm changing, and I'm changing. Just look at your old pictures. You look different. Your vibration is different. And so start the year off with positivity. Master he said, I could take a group of 5 young boys and I can show them what to do with meditation and this path. And in 5 years, 3 or 4 or 5 years, he said, I'll make saints. I'll make saints out of them. He's making a saint out of us. And making saints out of us. And he said, but they have to do what I tell them. And that's the point. Master's given the formula to become a saint, but you have to do what he's telling you to do. And otherwise, it doesn't work. And so I have some suggestions for things that you might want to try in these next days and next weeks and next months. One is in your, as you go forward, take one part of the teachings and you can work on it for a week, whatever it might be, something that you've read that you always wanted to do, that being more positive or saying yes to life or being more kind to people, or just take one thing. Don't take a whole lot. Take one thing and work on it. Just work with it. Rather than on it, with it sounds better. Work with it, that you make that change in yourself. Take one part of the teachings, and then you might take another one a month later or a week later, however you want to do it. That's one thing. Take one of the techniques next. And you might work with it. Swamiji used to tell us, work with Hong Sa for a whole week or a whole month. Then work with Om technique for a whole week or a whole month or 2 weeks or however. Then deepen your kriyas for that length of time. But take one thing, work with it. I see people say, no, I'm going to change all these things. And they don't make it because it's too much. So take one technique. And then take one part of Kriya. Isn't that a wonderful thought? One part of Kriya every week. Take Mahamudra, work with that for a while until you feel like, okay, now I've renewed Mahamudra. Take Jyoti Mudra, work with that. Take Kriya proper, do more Kriyas for some time, work with that. Do pranayam before your Kriya so you get calm. Work with that. Work with Hong Sa on the spine or tense and relax it. Work with your some part aspect of Kriya to be able to go more deeply. Another couple, take one affirmation, some positive affirmation. I've been working with the same affirmation for some years. And I work with it with one of our departments, but we go forth with perfect faith in the power of omnipresent good to bring us what we need at the time we need it. And these are the words of Master. Take some of his words and for a week, for a month, for months, for years, until you feel that affirmation is living inside of you. And then finally, Swamiji used to encourage us to take one of the gurus and every week meditate with one of them and feel like that guru is guiding you. Babaji is guiding you the whole week, or he's meditating with you the whole week, or take Master or Lahiri Mahashayaji. If it's not a week, take every 2 weeks to change it, or a month. But we have to just make small changes and take one thing at a time and work with that. And you'll find that you can bring Guruji's presence with you if you work in that way. Now, I have 3 other thoughts of attitudes that I'd like to go through as there's time. And these are small again, but just I'm trying to give little things that you can work with, but they make big changes in you. One I thought of Masters and Swamiji's, one attitude is, Master used to say, eventually, why not now? So this is something that's wonderful to bring into your daily life. If you can, don't keep putting things off. Procrastination, oh, I'll wait till later. I'll wait till I feel better. I wait till it's not so cold outside. I wait till it's not so hot outside. I'll just wait. But change that attitude if you can to know, I'm going to do it now. Do it now was what Swamiji changed those words to. Master said eventually, why not now? And Swamiji had the phrase, do it now. And how do you do it now? Plan. I know people never plan out anything. Make a plan for what you want to do. What are your goals? What is the timeline? What is the schedule? Who's going to do it? What is the checklist? How much time is it going to take? If it takes finances, how much finances? How many finances is it going to take? But work it out on paper. Meet about it. Discuss it. Otherwise, it's just talk and talk and nothing ever happens. But make a clear plan to achieve your goal. Eventually, do it now. And I remember my plan was years back when I first came onto the path, I wanted to have more time for the spiritual life. And so I've said this before, but it's worth repeating. I took some paper, I drew a line down the middle, and on one side I put how I use my time. Shocking how much time I was sleeping, how much time I was going to the shopping mall. Thank God all those things have changed. How much time I was spending with friends, socializing, how much time I was spending on the television, all these things, how much time I was wasting. Everybody says I don't have the time, but you do have the time actually. So on the other side, I wrote how I want to use my time. And I said, I want to chant. I want to learn the harmonium. I want to do yoga postures. I want to meditate longer. And I took time from the wasted time on the other side of that page, and I put it on the side of what I wanted to do. Did I achieve that? Absolutely, I achieved it because I wrote it out. I thought it through. I analyzed and I put that time on the other side, and I was able to do it. And so plan out, work it out, and you'll be able to make small or large changes. Start with something small, but you can make larger and larger ones if you have focus, if you plan and strategize. A devotee has to strategize. How am I going to make this work? Everybody says, oh, the 8-hour meditation was wonderful. We should do it more often, but nobody does it. I mean, if you want to meditate longer, make it in your plan and make it happen. The second one is living more in the self. Now, Swamiji said, Master told him this when you be in the self, meaning in the higher self, be in the higher chakras, live in those chakras, live at the Kutastha. Master told the devotees, the disciples, to have their energy here all the time. You don't go up with your eyes turned up, but to focus here. As you meditate more, you can live more in the self. More in your center. Come out a little bit, as you need to do things, but just be more in your center. And have time more alone. Time one day or half a day when you're not with other people, you're not socializing, you're not on the social media, you're not on a WhatsApp, you're not on the computer, you're just more of the self. You can read Master's books, Swamiji's books. I mean, taking half a day of seclusion, that's just sort of a little thing, but we take 1 week at a time. I'm going to America here soon. I'm going to be in a seclusion for a whole week. I just can't wait. It's the rejuvenation of yourself, the higher self. And everyone should think about doing it. If it's a day, if it's 3 days, it's not optional. And Swamiji said that his seclusion, he took one seclusion, he meditated for hours and hours and hours. You get in seclusion, your meditation just goes wonderfully. A long time for yoga postures, long time for chanting, long time for Hong Sao, long time for all the things you want to do, long time for study. And then he said that seclusion, the effects of it lasted him a year. Now that's a long time. If you go to Goa, how long is that going to last you? People tell me they have to have a vacation after the vacation because it was so stressful. The real vacation is inside the self. So have time like that. And then finally, remember, seek ye first the kingdom of God. Everything can wait. This can wait, that can wait. My search for God cannot wait. And just remember that everything else will come and go, and people will come and go, experiences come and go. Your health will be good, your health goes bad. You have more money, then you don't have more money, and you have friends, and you don't have friends. Everything is changing. It's all in flux, but God never changes. And if we put God first, remember Lahiri Mahashayaji's words, if you bring God into the summer of your life, he'll be there in the winter too. Remember that. And there was that man who had diabetes, and the doctor had given him, this is a story that Swamiji would tell, I believe Master told it. And he said, you have a year to live, or maybe it was 3 months to live. So the man said, okay, if that's all the time I have, I'm going to use it seeking God. And so he could barely sit up that well, but he would sit up and he would do as much of his meditation as he could, and he would pray to God. And his prayer was, Lord, come into this broken temple. And then some months passed, he was still alive, passed what the doctor said, and he kept praying, Lord, come into this broken temple. And then a year passed, and then 2 years passed. He was still praying, still meditating. This is such a beautiful story. Lord, come into this broken temple. 3 years passed. He was still alive. And then he noticed his whole body was healed. And he said, Lord, I didn't ask you to heal me. I just asked you to come into this broken temple. And he heard the Lord saying, God saying, where my light is, no darkness can be there. And he was completely healed. And so put God first, not your business, not your job, not your bank account, not your new car, the gym. I have to look sharp for the new year. Put God first, and then all these things shall be added unto you. I'll close now with this wonderful excerpt from Devi Ji's blog for this last one that she wrote. This is a brief excerpt. There's an aspect of personal transformation that's often overlooked. To make lasting improvements in our life, it takes more than our own personal efforts. True inner change comes about through a combination of sincere devotion to God and the grace that it draws. One of my favorite passages in the Bhagavad Gita is, to those who meditate on me as their very own, their hearts ever united to me by incessant inward worship, I supply their deficiencies and make permanent their gains. So as we enter the new year, remember, whatever the outer circumstances, to keep your love for God foremost in your mind. This is the most powerful and effective way to turn our resolutions into realities. Referring to the passage quoted earlier, Swami Kriyananda writes in the essence of the Bhagavad Gita, explained by Paramahansa Yogananda, thus the highest teaching which Krishna expounds here is to love God, the infinite spirit above all, to meditate on him as one's very own. God alone can lift us out of the relativities of karmic merits and demerits into the absolute peace and freedom of the infinite being. God bless you all. I'll ask Nitendra to join now on the screen. We have about 3 questions.
Thank you, Dhyana ji. I'll just share the list of questions. We are still on like 4th of January, but this question, some of us may already be able to relate to it. Why are New Year's resolutions broken so quickly?
I hope you didn't break yours already. I think because there's no foundation for it. It's just some words. I want to do this. And there's no base. There are no practices to make that happen. Maybe a person says they want to lose weight, so they go to the gym. Then, the food creeps in and there's no strong resolution. There's no strong will, maybe. Prana flow, energy flow, determination. People get weaker and weaker. They live in the senses for the most part. You live in the senses, you don't have the will to bring up. You don't have the will to focus here at the spiritual eye. There's not a strong prana flowing up in the spine. It's going down. And the same with wrong types of thinking. You think negatively, your energy is going to drop. You think anger or fear or worries, your energy is going to drop. Oh, I'm afraid I won't lose weight. Then the energy drops. You have to really, I would say, work with affirmations, be around strong people, read the spiritual books, read the lives of the saints. And there's some great stories. Think of Saint Anthony of the desert, as Satan was testing him all the time. And then he kept going. In the 11th hour, God came to him and he said, Lord, why didn't you come before? And so people think everything's going to be easy. You have to strengthen yourself. And what did Christ say to him? I was always there. So God is there, that his will is there, his Shakti is there, his power is there, the will to change is there. It's all within you, but you've got to work with it. It's not a bed of roses. Sometimes there's thorns over there and they don't feel so good. So get a life is what I would say. Get a strong life. And be like a marathon runner, be a spiritual warrior, especially at the beginning of the year. Coax yourself to do that. Get off of the couch and out of social media and the television. You'll find some, wow, you're a powerful person. Master said, if you can take 1 gram of your flesh and burst the atoms, you'd be able to light a city like Chicago for a whole week. But everybody's tired. Everybody's tired. I need to eat something more. I need to sleep some more. Well, if you want to do that, do it. But a yogi gets that Shakti flowing. And once that's flowing, you can make any change you want with God's grace and with your own help.
Thank you, Dhyanaji. Any suggestions on how can I make lasting changes?
Yeah, I think I just gave them, but affirmations, more meditation, energize twice a day, do more Mahamudra, do yoga postures, watch the company that you're with. Don't be in a negative environment as much as you're able. Yeah, watch your diet. I mean, there's everything we've been talking about, but take one thing at a time, as I was saying earlier, and work with that and strengthen yourself. I mean, if you're around Ananda people long enough, you get strong, isn't it? I mean, and if you serve enough, if you keep saying yes to what's being asked of you, you definitely get strong. But you have to help. Master's work. He can help you if you help him. There were so many things. Dhyana Mata was on the bed. She couldn't even get up. But then one day she was energizing in her chair. They put her in their chair and she was strong. She did what she had to do, but from the chair. And then she would write to the disciples from the bed. So you can keep going as much as you want. That man Horace was pulling weeds when he couldn't even walk anymore. So you got to decide, do I want to be strong in myself and serve my guru, or do I want to be a weakling? At a certain point, you just decide, no. Master's given everything. And just look at some of the YouTube videos of Master. He was like, whoa, walking down the streets of New York City, and the one man came to him at I think it was the Central Park and said, I think that was the one. He tried to rob him. Give me a nickel. Give me a dime. Give me a quarter. Master kept giving him change, then finally, give me $1. Master said, get out! The man just ran. Now that's some Shakti, you just got to, and these bad habits, tell them to get out. You don't want them anymore. But if you say, no, I'll wait till next month, I'll do better. Well, bang, it just doesn't work. So strengthen yourself and strengthen your children. Don't give them everything they want. Here you want a new bicycle. Okay, you want another new bicycle. Here's another. Oh, you want a better bicycle? Here's another bicycle. It's not right. The kids get spoiled, is what I've seen. And the parents are spoiled, the kids, everybody's spoiled in the whole family. So this isn't right. You have to have some hard times to get strong in yourself. I grew up in a very rough neighborhood in Watts in Los Angeles, roughest neighborhood there is there. Nothing ever happened to me, but I got strong. And I told Swamiji once about where I used to live. And he said, that was good for your character. It was good for your character. So get some strength in you. Then tests come, you'll be able to handle them. Make sense?
Absolutely, Dhyanaji. One last question. Bad habits tend to linger for a long time, and I can't work on all of them at once. So how do I figure out what to work on first?
How about the biggest? Or that you could start with the smallest. I mean, you have to decide the one you want to get rid of the most. But typically you start with something small and work up to the big. So you got to get inspiration to keep moving. You see what I'm saying? To something bigger and bigger and bigger. But basically, it depends on you. If something's really, really bothering you and you feel like it's time, it's karma is over. And that's the thing. The karma is over for certain things. And it's time to just pull that out, you know, and if you don't catch it, then it could be a long time. So I remember I went through a heavy duty karma and several. It made me strong. And so I remember once Swamiji came to me and he gave me this gift. I knew it was time, that karma was over. And I knew he had helped me to pull out of it. He gave me this gift and he didn't say anything and I didn't say anything, but I knew exactly what he was saying. That karma is finished. It was like a gift that I had gone through the karma and finished it. And I knew, I said, Swamiji, I'm just so grateful for your help. And so that's the thing. God helps us to pull out of those things. But there's certain moments that certain karma is just over. Karma of being ill, the karma of your kids, whatever, not being happy, the karma of a husband, the karma of the wife, the karma of your bank account. There's so much karma. At certain points, it's over. And you know it's nearly over. I would go after that, seize it, and just get rid of it. Does it make sense? Just get in there and say, I know you're just about over, like a nail in a board. You've been pulling all those years and you're just happy to pull that thing out and throw it away. Isn't it the truth? And that's what's happening in people's lives. And if you want to get something out, you can. You know when it's time, go for it. And God's grace will pull it all the way out. That's what I have found. Make sense? Okay. Jai Guru, Happy New Year. And I hope you all will attend the Master's birthday satsang tomorrow with Nayaswami, Jai, and myself, 7:30 to 8:30 in the morning. God bless you all. Bye-bye.